Frontiers and Frisbees, we bring you another episode this week on the Indie Ball Report podcast. All right, we are back. 355, the Indie Ball Report podcast. Ryan's on the other end here, and he doesn't know how to work an alarm clock. Do you, Ryan?
Yeah, it's on me. That's on me. Sorry for partying. And by partying, I mean having a few drinks and then being like, oh, I'll wake up for this podcast and then not.
I want you to know I did think about calling you at some point because I was like, if I call
that would
him,
have
I'll
helped,
wake him
honestly.
up. But then I was like, I don't even really want to record it right now myself. So I was like, well, like, and then I could blame him for it.
Wow. Okay. Well, happy when you're happy.
So
doing nothing as always and making it the people's problem.
Talking about doing nothing. There really is something to talk about this week, is there?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get something.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good job, everyone. You showed up, which is nearly more than I did.
But so we do have a couple things. We have the Frontier League tryout camp that's been announced, and we have a breakthrough with the Lincoln managerial position. So I guess we'll dive into the Frontier League, get them out of the way, and then we'll get to Frisbee, and then we'll see if there's anything else to discuss this week. So Frontier League tryout camp, pretty much second, very same as the first here. Going to be at Lake Erie's ballpark again, April 20th through 21st, same as every year. Day one, drills and bullpen. Then they'll do some cuts. Day two, they'll have some modified games, and then a draft in the afternoon. Pitchers, $90 to register. Players, $120. If you are a two-way player because you think you are budget Ohtani, then you got to go bug Shep for that. But don't you worry. It's his job. So you can bug him and harass him as much as you'd like. And frankly, I would deeply encourage harassing him because it just feels right.
We enjoy it. Yeah.
Frankly, what you should do is DM him constantly because he loves that.
Yeah. I don't know why we both do that.
Because it's my job to make us. I know we do, but it's my job to make his life more difficult.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That sounds right. His life.
It wasn't just him. It wasn't an exclusive list.
It's a lengthy list, I have a feeling.
So what do you think about this tryout camp? We think anyone of value is going to come from this?
Potentially. I never say never on that. I just always give out my customary sort of like ask if a tryout camp is right for you and ask yourself that. Because some people it's great for, other people it's like, yeah, you probably aren't getting your money's worth. So really think about it. Think about if this is what you want to do with your weekend, if that gives you the best opportunity to get picked up, and then decide from there.
You know what my kind of growing hot takes become?
What?
If you're a pitcher, you're better off waiting and not doing a league tryout, and instead just doing a bunch of tryouts closer to you because it'll be cheaper. And if you're a halfway decent pitcher, somebody will.
I know somebody's going to find you. I mean, I've been going through. It's a lengthy process, but I've been going through redoing the league equivalency math for the year. Like updating for the new year, and that involves going through basically every player who's played for an indie ball team this year.
Fun.
And there are some guys who got shots on the mound where I am like, dude, I should start throwing.
You should. Frankly, what I think they should do, and by that I mean the Frontier League, is I think they should let us go to this tryout camp for free and participate.
I'm more focused when it comes to getting on the field. I'm just going to start putting it out there early and often. I'm more focused on getting out to Florence and shagging fly balls during the home run derby. That I am all in on that. That's my baseball activity for the year.
It's a shame All-Star break isn't at the same time as Union Night. Although maybe it is. We don't know.
Yeah,
Gary
I know. We don't know
these things. You know, some people would say you should have your promotional schedule out before the week before the season starts. But, you know, what do I know, right?
There's terrorism on my schedule, Gary.
I'd like to start booking things, Gary. Make it easy for me to love you. Look at what you're doing to this relationship.
We want to love you. We've been trying to.
Not much else to really add. It's a tryout camp. They're not going to try to make more out of this than it really is. It's a tryout.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We'll see if anyone interesting shows up. I mean, I never say never on that. I am always.
Say never.
I mean, I'm always biased by. I'm not biased. Maybe I'm always, I guess, informed by, colored by. I don't know what, by the fact that the first year that I was covering the Atlantic League, Josh Sala rolled up on a tryout camp and then ripped 40 something dingers, and I was like, well, yeah, you know. So you never know.
You never know. The bigger thing here is that apparently rosters are due May 6th, so that's fun.
Notable. What's opening day again?
Hold on. I just wrote that down in my fancy new planner. Planner. Frontier League is the 7th.
Damn it.
Yes.
I was hoping it would be like a 48-hour cushion between rosters being due and opening day, but oh well.
I know,
Alas.
really. They just can't make it easy on us. Don't they know who we are?
Morons. I think they do.
And then we have Cosmic. There. Damn it, Chef. Look what you've done. I blame you for this. Any ills.
Like, oh no, they
I
become
blame
self-aware. Yeah,
But-
that's it. Bring it down on him.
Exactly. That's what he gets for being friendly with us.
Yeah, this is the last time he's friendly with us, honestly. It's like, well, I'm done with this.
Don't worry. I'll text him. So come on. Yes.
I had something else to add. Don't know what it was. It's gone
Okay.
forever.
Good. Where it should be. Coaching carousel time. James
Yeah.
Frisbee's going to be managing Lincoln, huh?
That's the rumor. That is from multiple players have been contacted by him saying that. So
Seems
at
like
least
pretty
multiple
safe
players I
bet.
talked to. Yeah, I would say so as well. I mean, I've seen like screenshots, so I'm tempted to believe it. Of course, I'm trying to protect sources as always, but I have on good authority that unless something dramatic happens, I mean, I don't have confirmation that contract is signed. I don't know that side, but the way he is operating, I would assume contract is signed already.
Yeah, it's probably a safe bet. I mean, he's been around a minute. I didn't realize he was in Rockford, and he also did the Airhogs too. And I kind of like, this could just be me having a blank spot in my mind. So you may, be like, really, you didn't remember this? But he was apparently in Grand Junction in 22, and I just totally blanked on that.
Yeah, he's had a weird arc. I mean, he was signed to Lincoln, for those who don't remember. He was already supposed to be Lincoln's manager, and then COVID happened, and then he ended up with, I believe, Houston picked him up, I think it was.
I thought it was Detroit, but
it was Detroit. You're right. Sorry, it was Detroit, and then he went to Grand Junction, and then he ended up, I believe, with the Nationals. Because if I recall, I think he had like a medical emergency on the field last year in Philly,
did.
I think. And that's the last. I was like, oh my gosh, James Frisbee. And then I was like, oh, he was okay. And then they were like, he's okay. I was like, oh my gosh, James Frisbee. We can go back to that conversation. Yeah. So that's the insight. I don't have a lot on him, frankly. I haven't really crossed paths or overlapped with him much. A lot of the guys he's managed before, I really haven't talked too much. So I don't know. I will try to gather more information as this develops, but that is what we have so far.
yeah, like I just don't know what to really make him. Like you said, I like that he's been around before. Clearly, Lincoln likes him. They were willing to hire him twice. Also on short, obviously it's a little short notice too, given how fast things move. So they seem they came together there. I wonder if it's more like, hey, he's looking for a job and we know what he's about and we were going to hire him anyway. So screw it. Let's see what happens.
Let's try it again.
Yeah. Second time's the charm. Or if it's like, no, we actually wanted our guy and now we got our guy. So I'm curious to see how that
is this some love affair that's been playing out? Will they, won't they for years?
Don't they know Hallmark season's over?
Yeah.
But yes, it's that's the big coaching carousel move as of recent.
Still no Staten Island news, which is concerning. I hear that they have been doing interviews, or at least they started their first interview or two. I can't put out who they're talking to, but there doesn't seem to be a heavy amount of commitment from that organization right now. So it's something to watch.
I mean, they're really running out of options though at this point here. Like it's going to be another brand new guy more than likely. And
it seems that way. Yeah.
And I don't know if I really trust that kind of thing. Sometimes you get one that works. Other times you get one that doesn't really work.
Well,
So,
I mean, and they've already had a couple guys that don't have a ton of experience and hasn't worked in Staten Island. So the only thing that really has worked has been Minikazi, and he had plenty of experience roster building. And then, I mean, it feels like he couldn't get out there fast enough because Staten Island likes to limit the kind of roster moves you can make based on finances. So that's not something that managers appreciate.
That's true. So, I mean,
I've heard from multiple former managers of Staten Island.
That is an interesting quandary of a team.
Yes, it is. And the lack of commitment, again, only really serves to stir up more potential rumors about, do they intend to be in the Atlantic League long term, or are they looking somewhere like the Frontier League? But that's a potentially a different conversation for a different day, because we've had it before. It's just that we don't really have any new information there. It's just always rumored.
I kind of already commented a lot on them, so I don't really know what more we're going to add on here other than just, oh, yeah, it's more of the same. So,
yeah, fair enough.
What else do we really have here?
I mean, not a ton. I mean, because again, it's a slow news week because not a lot of big moves are happening over Christmas. I don't know. I don't really have anything baseball at this point. I was kind of looking into. I will say, because we did mention Gary. Gary was the most recent team that I was working through while I was doing the league equivalencies. And that was the one where I was really like, Gary slipped in some randoms this year, dude. They had like multiple guys who just hadn't played in like 4 years or more, who just showed up and played. And I'm like, Gary, what are we doing, guys?
What now? Were they Lamar Roger guys? Or were
that's what I couldn't tell. I got to figure that out. But I suspect Lamar, right? I mean, that seems more their speed.
I mean, yeah, the Gary Black Sox typically played like that.
Yeah. Did we discuss on the pod, I think, the American Association conversation of Will, they expand to Colorado? Did we talk about on the pod? I
think we may have touched on, but I don't think we went into too much detail on it. I'm fine doing that right now if that's something you want to do.
I'm cool with it because I'm so interested in that. I'm interested in that for a couple of reasons, honestly, because the idea of what the American Association is going to do is so fascinating to me, because they really are kind of in a weird position right now where they're rumored to be close, or they're rumored to be looking at a bunch of markets, right? But they have to kind of problem solve their map a little bit, because they have the gaps north and the gaps south. So they sound like they have the Minnesota market. What, Blaine. That figured out, which is going to bridge the gap a little bit up toward like continuing at least to pack in some teams to bridge gaps toward Winnipeg. But the question mark of going down and like trying to fix the situation with Texas is getting more interesting, because there are more articles this week about the Kansas City situation. I mean, do you think there's a chance Kansas City ends up in a bad spot here? Like, they can't stay if the Royals move there, right?
I think you kind of got to try to troop it out. That being said, though,
good Lord. I guess so. Because you don't just want to hold that L like that. Like, that's a bad look, I guess.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, you immediately duck out of town. It's a bad scene. That kind of kills any possibility going back to that whole area, no?
I mean, if the Kansas City Royals move in, you could do the play of like, we're going to go almost try to take up for the Kansas City, Missouri market. Like, that's kind of what if they stay local, I feel like that's what they might do. They seem pretty invested in the Kansas City Monarchs brand, so I'm not sure they would fully drop like Kansas City area.
It wouldn't make much sense to do that. That's the route they chose to do.
Like, right. Now,
again, looking at their footprint is so awkward. Their footprint's just so awkward.
It's so weird where it's just straight north-south in one line and then Chicago. It's very interesting.
And now, then that dot of Cleburne.
The reason I bring up Kansas City is because Kansas City does have the most direct route as far as I can tell to Colorado Springs, if they were to do the Colorado Springs thing. And Minnesota, that's adding in, is that in 2027?
Yes.
So they need to figure this out. They have a year to figure out who's going to
27
come
or
in.
29.
They said by 2028, 2029. So maybe 2028 the latest. That was a little while ago. So the question mark becomes, where would they go? We've seen they're sniffing around in Tennessee, which almost makes sense, but doesn't really help the Texas issue. Colorado Springs doesn't help. I do wonder if there's a potential for Western expansion, like multiple team Western expansion. If they were to do 1 or 2 markets in Colorado, if they were to grab even a Montana market, but even that doesn't solve. Dude, I don't know what they're going to do. It's such a weird situation. The Frontier League has an easier situation because they've moved in so many directions that there's a lot of directions they can continue to move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had the luxury of being able to divide things up a little bit easier too. I mean, that's the real problem here is like Fargo and Winnipeg are kind of further north than everybody else, but it can be done. And then you have Cleburne on the island by themselves here, but you do kind of have ready-made pods. You have the highway pod, Winnipeg to Kansas City, and then you have your Chicago pod here. I'm almost in favor of finding a way to dump Cleburne.
That's kind of the solution.
Yeah, and get something over in Chicago area, and then you have a clean split. Now, of course, that's a very saturated market. That can saturate even more, which is a concern.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be Chicago itself. Something like, and I'm not saying these cities, but I'm using this as a general example, Rockford, Illinois, Davenport, Iowa, Bloomington, Illinois, that would all very much fit that print rather well. I am hesitant to do anything in Colorado just because you're creating a little bit of a Cleburne issue where, again, island by themselves. Now, yes, you have a highway that runs pretty much direct to Denver and then goes straight down to Colorado Springs or straight up to Fort Collins or wherever it may wind up being. Grand Junction, I think, is more like one of the corners of the state, if I remember right, but I probably am misremembering. No, it's the far end of the state. It's nearly out in Utah at that point. So it's even further out there. Now you're starting to bring other questions into it. And at that point, you ask the question, well, what if you just do Santa Fe? And if you're going to do that, then you might as well just keep Cleburne, even though they're not really near each other. It's the same region of the country, even though that doesn't really mean much. So it starts to create a whole slew of different things by opening that door. I'm also very hesitant on that market as a whole. Obviously, it didn't work for a lower level affiliated, and it clearly didn't work Pioneer League. Now you could chalk that up to being upset that you got demoted and then not really doing the job and promoting it correctly after the fact. But I'm not necessarily sure that the American Association is going to be able to revive that market again. So I'd almost want to just leave it be and focus more on that Midwest, upper Midwest region, or try to find a way to get one more connective tissue on the way to Cleburne and help them out. I'm not willing to give up on Louisiana either. I think maybe that could be something. Of course, the major issue with that is kind of the same issue you have with Cleburne, which of course would be the weather. It's not really inviting for outdoor activities in the summer. So you could wind up right back in the same spot, which is the same reason why with Tennessee, I'm a little bit concerned, where it's a little bit out of the footprint here. If that was your furthest south point, then it wouldn't be too bad, right? I mean, it's doable. It's just an eye roll of a trip. But again, I'm concerned with the weather factor in there, and I'm concerned about trying to pitch it to an area that may not know what it is. That being said, Murfreesboro, which is where I believe the team's going to be, hasn't had a team before, to my knowledge, at least not off the top of my head, and certainly not for a minute. So maybe that helps a little bit in being able to sell and pitch it because nobody has any sort of preconceived notion as to what it's going to be. But yeah, either way, I am a little skeptical of going that route and would rather see them try to find something in like Missouri and Illinois I'd almost rather see them go a little bit further east and try to see if there's anything in Ohio, more western Ohio, but still Ohio or Michigan.
I often wonder what the deal is with the Madison Mallards.
That's one I wondered about too, because that's a really
Their
nice
attendance
market.
is really good.
Yeah.
And
but then
like,
the question becomes, where's the incentive to move? Is it going to get any better?
right. Yeah.
And
That's
is it a
part of
gamble
the
worth
interesting.
taking? Yeah.
Right. And I think like you put the Kalamazoo Growlers in that same conversation as well. Yeah, I wonder sometimes about that. Both organizations are pulling over 2,000 people per game. I mean, Madison Mallard said they're pulling 5,000 a game. I don't know how accurate that is, but
yeah,
I mean, literally, they're pulling their attendance is far more than twice what anyone else attends is in the North Woods League, if that's accurate. But even if it's not accurate, you got to assume it's pretty crazy.
I could see it just because it's a younger city. People are looking for things to do. And
nice ballpark.
Yeah, that helps as well. And I also think that for the age of the city, it lines up very well with the sport of baseball, particularly minor league ball. That's a little bit out there, a little bit zany. And I know there's summer college, but it's minor league for all we're talking about here. And I'm willing to wager that younger people are getting more into baseball. I think that's something that's coming on a little bit here.
Yeah.
I think that the pace of it is something that's appealing. I think a lot of it is just more appealing to that. And also, if you're going to assume you're going for more of a millennial audience, that's what Madison is. They're starting families and whatnot. They're looking for something to bring their kids to. Baseball is a pretty good way of doing that. So I'm willing to wager like that.
And people like a hangout, like the hangout aspect of baseball as well. And I think there's something to that whole aspect as well. And I think that's probably what Madison does really well, because they just built a really cool, not just, it was a few years ago, but they built like a really cool bar group area, which is awesome. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think
and we're seeing a lot of the teams do that.
Good markets
Schaumburg
in
did
that
too.
area. Yeah, exactly. So interesting, but that's why I'm not entirely bought in on the Colorado Springs ownership question mark, unless there is a possibility. That article mentioned, the American Association owner is looking out there. Never said for the American Association. There's a possibility that they tried to, that owner, whoever it is, decides to put in, a Pioneer League organization. Colorado Springs is, that is a legitimate ballpark. I mean, they can successfully run things out of there if it's run well. The question mark is, will it? But,
I mean, it's just, I think there's a lot of concerns around it, though, that scare me.
Yeah, I get that. And then lastly, since we're talking about the expansion thing.
Plus, there's always Joplin, too, just tossed it on as well. I mean, technically, it is on the way there, and I believe there's still a ballpark there. Yeah. It's just nothing really works in Joplin. So,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, if we were willing to try Grand Junction, is Joplin all that more different?
No. I don't know. I feel like Grand Junction might have a better setup.
Perhaps, but I'm just saying it's not out there if that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I guess. Now, at a glance, do you think there are any organizations or like locations in the Pecos that might hop or get picked up by the Pioneer or the American or something? I mean, Grand Junction, I think, is possible.
I could see it. I mean, the issue is always, again, with the ownership there, right? Like, obviously, it'd just be the city jumping and not the team itself. But I just, the ones that could do it haven't shown a willingness to want to do it.
Yeah. Tucson's interesting always, but it's just that they're on an island, essentially.
Which again is why the Pioneer League expansion is curious, because obviously it's the coast that they want. That's quite clearly the goal. But to the same extent, that's not really where they're grouped with. And I don't know where they're going to wind up being. Like, how much more is there out there?
Yeah. that isn't, that's transfer writing too. If they don't have a team already, there's probably a reason.
Exactly. And you can only get so desperate before you say, scrap it.
Right. I feel like every league right now is sort of, not the Frontier. I should pull the Frontier out of that. But I feel like a lot of these leagues are kind of really handcuffed right now with the expansion question. And it's interesting because they're all looking to. So it's like, all right, guys. I mean, what are we going to do here? Yeah, there'll be something to watch. I mean, we don't really, obviously, we're not going to solve anything today, but it's just sort of interesting that.
Yeah,
we've talked about this so much, and there's just nothing that stands out as like an obvious solution to these issues.
Could always go with Fairbanks, Alaska, get the gold panners involved.
Bro, I want a team in Alaska so bad, but obviously, Pioneer League can barely make California work. Yeah.
Hey, 121st Midnight Sun game coming up June 19th.
That's so amazing. Awesome.
I want to do that once.
Yeah. Make the trip. You can make the trip. We can do that.
Is it a business expense?
Anyway. All right. I mean,
kind of.
It's got to be a business. We got to go do a business.
I mean, that's just an LLC away.
I feel like we don't have a lot to say today. So I think I will cash in a birthday gift for you here.
Oh, yeah?
And give you content.
Oh, boy.
And this was going to go on my channel, by the way. This was going to be, I made the tier chart for it. So I'm going to do this to you as I find a place outside of Moose Jaw called Old Wives Lake. They're going to just pocket that information and deal with it later.
What do they do up there, I wonder?
It's just old wives stuff. Telltales, perhaps. It's already been referenced that I watched quite a number of Hallmark movies this year. And I think I should really close the loop on that one by giving you my full ranking of the 24 Hallmark movies that came out this year. Now, there's only 23, and I'm going to get ahead of that right now because I didn't see Christmas at the Catnip Cafe. In that one, Olivia Pierce, who's a marketing executive, discovers that her late great aunt's cat cafe in New York, which we all understand that, very relatable, which she believes it's going to be a Christmas miracle of some sort. She helps plan a fundraiser event and gains appreciation for the feline inhabitants. I didn't see that one because my dog barks at animals on TV, and that wasn't going to happen. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see that one. But I did see the rest. And I put them into tiers here so everybody can follow along pretty easily, which I think is the most responsible way to go about this. And the first tier is the lowest tier, naturally, which is actively hostile to the people watching it, which I think is a fair way of saying it. So the number 23 movie is The Christmas Cup, where Staff Sergeant Kelly Brandt, recovering from a knee injury. It's never explained what the knee injury was. I'm pretty sure she was committing war crimes. We're going to deal with that later. Leads her hometown team in the annual Christmas Cup. You know Christmas Cups, you know how they are. Despite her heart aching for her career, which, by the way, at the end of the movie, she just decides to not take the new job in the military. She just said no. I think that's a dishonorable discharge, by the way. So I don't know what this movie is about. But she discovers there's multiple ways to serve the community. Now, namely, not saying yes when the military asks you to go to your new assignment, apparently, but we'll deal with that later. It was terrible. It was so bad that I'm pretty sure there was a child in this movie who was disabled. We just didn't acknowledge that. I think they just wrote that detail out of the movie. It was truly one of the worst things I've seen in my life. Movie number 22, though, came really close. I was sure this movie was going to be the worst. It's called Melt My Heart This Christmas. Glassblower Holly, we all know glassblowers, seizes a last-minute chance to assist her idol at a famed Christmas market. You know how important these Christmas markets are for glassblowing, Nick. You know what's about.
Oh, of course.
Holly must navigate the icy disapproval of Jack, a man who she ends up with at the end of the movie, despite having like 2 interactions with him, because Hallmark at the end of this movie clearly just went, oh shit, nobody got together. You two kiss now. And then they do. And dude, I've never seen a movie with so little plot. It was essentially like they forgot to write a movie and then they went, so anyway, glass blowing. Merry Christmas.
Not the only thing.
I thought I had an aneurysm. I went back and checked this thing out a second time to be like, I think I must have fallen asleep and like missed the key plot point. That happens to me quite a bit during Hallmark movies. Nope. That was it. That was all. And yeah, it was absolutely insane. Let's get into the next tier, which is unclear why these movies happened. 21st movie is Christmas on Duty. We're back to the military already. Sorry, military. Former rivals Blair and Josh. You know how rivals are.
It feels like there's a constant theme here.
They must work Christmas duty together. You know, when a snowstorm threatens holiday deliveries to the base, they're forced to cooperate to save Christmas, despite their past conflicts. It was not good. It was not good, though. It was better than the last movie, because I think the last military movie was so bad that the military was like, we're not getting involved with this, because this one was heavily sponsored by USAA. You could tell based on the product placement. And you're like, product placement for insurance? How's that possible? Buddy, anything is possible through Christ. So jot that down. In the other one, you only knew that they're both in the military because at one point, the one dude puts on a hat that just says Army Ranger, not like with a logo, just like embroidered on there. And I'm like, damn, the military was like, do not involve us in this. So anyway, that happened. Now, you might be already tired of Christmas movies. That's fine. I got a Jewish movie for you. Oi to the World. When a synagogue's pipes burst, a church offers space. As the choir directors prepare a joint Christmas Hanukkah service, old rivals Nikki and Jake must overcome their competition to unite their communities through song. I need you to understand something here.
I'm still hung up with the title.
Oh, it's a lot. Anyway, there's like perfectly good songs that are related to both religions, by the way. And like, they just chose to be like, oh, oi to the world. I'm losing it. Here's why I'm really losing it though, Nick. Because it's a children's performance. First of all, there's only 6 kids in this choir. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's a combined choir too, so I don't know what's going down. However, do you know who the star of the performance is? The 2 adults walking through the aisles singing a song they wrote to each other, and the kids just sing backing vocals. This is one of 3 times that this happens in the Hallmark movies this year. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Continuing, because we're already now at movie 19. The Snow Must Go On. On that topic, Isaiah Hayward returns to Broadway after a decade, but faces challenges in finding a director. He saves a Christmas musical and discovers love, family, and friendship as the greatest holiday gifts. He reunites with his family and friends. The entire movie, he's going to be the star of this children's Christmas pageant, and then at the end he goes, maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, buddy. In fact, step away from the children. What are we doing here? Anyway, yeah, they really went a long way just to make the Snow Must Go On pun, and that was all I had to say on that movie. Christmas Angel Match. It is worth noting, Christmas Angel Match, when I saw it, I went, that's going to be the worst movie of the year for the Hallmark movies. I've already been through 5 worse ones, so it went great. 2 Christmas angels with opposite styles, you know how angels are, must unite soulmates before the holiday while dealing with department downsizing, by the way, because even the economy is trash in heaven now, so that's good, and their own unexpected connections. I am once again asking for biblically accurate angels in these movies. Continuing, we're into our next category here. The next category is these are movies. Of all the movies, Nick, these are definitely some of them. And we're going to have to cruise through these because there's just not much to say. However, the first one was a true affront to justice, which was Holiday Touchdown, a Bills love story. Now, you might be thinking, didn't they just do a Kansas City Chiefs one? They did. And they made a Bills one. Well, this is the first one especially good? No, but the second one was worse. So that's good. I don't even know what the plot of this was, but it was really uncomfortable. Damar Hamlin shows up. I don't know. The more the merrier. Alice, an emergency room doctor, volunteers to work Christmas Eve shifts at a rural hospital. During a snowy Christmas, Alice and Brian, a top-rated cardiologist, help deliver 3 baby booms. Baby booms? I don't know why they wrote that in the description. Sparking a lasting bond. 2 things here, Nick. Rural hospital. It is the nicest hospital ever. They have more doctors than you could ever need. I don't know where this takes place. I assume Canada. Beyond that, multiple times in this movie, there's a kid who needs help and they're like talking to the parents and they go, well, what's going on? And they go, ask him and ask the child and act like the doctor is an idiot for not asking the child. Nick, are we Are we on crack? Do not ask the child. Ask the adult what is happening with the medical emergency.
But the child has to advocate for themselves, right?
It was supposed to be like a lesson of like these young people. They're independent. You have to respect them. Dude, no. Anyway, A Royal Montana Christmas, which might have been our most stereotypical Hallmark movie of the year. Princess Victoria of Zollarnia, you know Zollarnia, is ready for a change of pace. Classic princess stuff. Looking to decompress in the days leading up to Christmas, she decides to take a vacation to Peaceful Pines Ranch in Montana. Proof that Zollarnia must have Yellowstone. You would think it's bad, and it is. So good job, everyone. A sweet holiday romance. Writer Sabrina stays at a luxury hotel to ghostwrite a memoir. She meets Ian at the bar and lets him think she's wealthy. He's actually a secretary, posting his nobility while managing a royal jewels exhibit. It was fine. I don't know what happened here. It was just like, it's the dumb one where it's like, we had a miscommunication. Now I'm mad instead of having a conversation. Every time that happens, chug a ball of vodka until you die. Welcome to Hallmark Christmas. Three wisest men. 3 siblings deal with personal challenges and their mother's decision to sell the family home before Christmas. Between in-laws, wild animals, and a mall Santa, they try to make the holidays perfect. The 3 guys in this movie are extremely likable, so much so that this is the third in a trilogy of them. The first one was pretty good. The second one was not good. They clearly only had enough to write a movie and a half, but never fear, Nick. They made a third one anyway, and it was disastrous. They rewrote. They just like clearly didn't have an idea what to do. The one guy, his whole thing in the second movie was, oh, I'm going to be an animal psychologist. Okay, putting aside the fact that that's dumb as hell. Okay, sure. Follow your dreams, idiot. This movie, that's never mentioned again. And then he's the brother who has an issue with a bird and doesn't know how to handle it. And oops, the bird gets away. I'm like, you actively just decided the second movie didn't happen. Okay, sure. I guess we'll all do that. Final movie in this category, Single on the 25th. This is one of my favorite concepts. The story follows a 30-something who spends Christmas alone in the city only to find unexpected companionship with a handsome neighbor. That does not do this movie justice. This whole movie is like Hallmark's mea culpa on, hey, we know we made Christmas all about couples, and that's probably really hard on single people. So this whole movie is about accepting being single, except, oops, the lead still gets together with the guy that she's learning to be single with. Okay, Hallmark just can't control themselves. It is ridiculous. It comes out of them like vomit. But here's the good news. We're into the top half of these movies. And by top half, I mean, sure, man, because the next category is could have been good, but wasn't. We have at number 11, dude, we're almost in the top 10. I know you're excited here, and you're welcome again for your birthday gift. Number 11 had to be a Newport Christmas, which has nothing to do with ripping Newports, which is what this movie wanted me to do. Ella is a charitable spirited Newport socialite in 1905 who dreams of using her wealth to start a foundation to help her town. She ends up in the future, falls in love with a guy. They both leave. They both go back in time. Spoiler alert. He just gives up his life. He's like, I don't got family. I'll just go back in time. Problem solved. Okay, what was the point of any of this then? All right, great. There is no drama. The drama is supposed to be like, but I have a life here. I'd have to give it all up to travel back. No, they do it anyway. I'm losing my mind again. Number 10, we're into the top 10. Are we into good movies yet, Nick? No, we're not, but we're in the top 10. This is, brace yourselves, the Token Black People movie. Hallmark does one a year. This one was actually solid. They did a nice job. Usually it's aggressively written by white people who don't know black people. A serious TV newscaster's life changes when he meets his young superfan and the boy's hard-working single mom. As he embraces positive holiday stories, romance blooms, but a career opportunity forces him to choose between ambition and love. Spoiler alert, he chose love. Also, spoiler alert, Nick, this is the most egregious thing I saw in any of these movies. It's a Christmas performance. At the end of it, the boy who was supposed to interview his hero, the guy, but then the guy wasn't there, he's like bummed out. But then the guy shows up at the end of the Christmas performance and he's like, wait, one more thing. They proceed to redo the whole stage and then do a whole like interview thing where he's like, by the way, I'm going to bang your mom forever. But that's not what he said, but that was the context. And all I can think is if I'm a dad in the crowd, I just watched this Christmas performance. I cheer. I'm standing. And then someone goes, but wait. And I have to sit there for 40 more minutes. We're getting on the news. Where were we? We're at number 9 now. Number 9, A Keller Family Christmas. This one's crazy because it's got Jonathan Bennett, who is, anybody knows, the big dog on Hallmark. Okay. He was even hosting New Year's Eve tonight. Also has insert dude who was Superman in something, Brandon Routh. I don't remember what he was Superman in right now.
Yeah, he was Superman, and then he was in those in that CW series.
He was also in Gilmore Girls too, by the way. So don't forget that. And then also
he's
has
really
Eden
rolling
Scher,
residual chicks, ain't he?
Right, and he also has Eden Scher, who's the sister, the girl in the middle. So like this, they brought out the big guns on this movie, and buddy, it was underwhelming as all hell. 3 reluctant adult siblings, just named them, join their parents on a Christmas river cruise through Europe, each dealing personal issues, only to find unexpected joy, romance, and family bonds along the way. Honestly, there was a really nice scene at the end where like the dad is having a health issue, and they're like, we're going to rally around him, and then they all skate together. I did feel a little bit of feelings there, and that was actually pretty good. Anyway, continuing on. Where are we at here? We're at number 8. We Met in December. Annie Lane and Dave Weeks meet in a holiday hotel, falling in love. Do they exchange numbers? Though no, surely they'll see each other the next day. Wrong, they don't. Plain missed by the guy. Overslept. Idiot. Only idiots oversleep. Anyway, they embark on separate quests to find each other, sharing wisdom, making significant life changes. They meet in a church at the end, not in a religious way. It was really funny because I was like, oh, this is a religious movie. I didn't even notice that. And then they immediately leave Christmas Mass to go outside and kiss and exchange phone numbers. I was like, okay. I don't think Jesus signed on for that. Kind of messing up his birthday, but you do you. Anyway, where are we now? Number 7, Make or Break Holiday. This should have been good. It wasn't. A couple hosting Christmas decides to fake the relationship with their families after choosing to separate. You know how you lie to your family on Christmas. Working together for the perfect holiday helps them remember why they fell in love. I had one major issue with this movie here. And at one point, the one family member decides, we're going to do a Christmas obstacle course. And it's all stuff from around the house. Like, oh, there's this like net rope thing they climb. And there's like, they got to crawl under some other thing. And then there's like just 30 tires that they have to like run through. And I'm like, wait a minute, where'd you get all these tires from? That was enough to bother the hell out of me. Anyway, where were we?
It just sounds like your house, dude.
We're into our top 6. I know you're very excited here because these are movies that they're good, actually good, question mark, according to my tier list here. Number 6, Christmas Baby. This is the token gay movie, so buckle up. And it's lesbians this time, so big deal for Hallmark. A couple receives a baby boy before Christmas with a note meant for them. You know how often it happens. While temporarily caring for him during the holiday rush, they navigate the relationship, careers, and the foster to adopt process. Honestly, Hallmark kind of nailed this. It was really nice. It was really sweet talking about foster care and how adoption works and the choice to like love a child even if you don't have certainty in it. Highly support the foster care system. Everybody should go adopt a child or don't if it's not for you.
I was going to say, do they show the abusive underbelly of the foster care system?
Yeah, well, they're nice lesbian people, so that's fun. An Alpine Holiday. Alpine Holiday features starring and directed by Ashley Williams, who you might know as what's her face. I'm going to remember her name in 1 second. She was Victoria in How I Met Your Mother. She was in like a whole season of How I Met Your Mother, dating Ted. Crazy. Sure. Anyway, Faith and Kelly, estranged sisters and estranged sisters reunite for Christmas in the French Alps, as you do, right? Because their grandma died. And then like suddenly grandma's lawyer is like, by the way, she wanted you guys to go to the Alps like for Christmas Eve tomorrow. I could have told you any time, but didn't. Anyway, reminiscing about their grandmother and grandfather's first trip together that they took. They cherish sisterhood and romance with their guide, Frederick. Brother, when I tell you this whole movie would have been so good about like sisterly love and moving on past death and understanding like the role of family together. And instead they're also like, and one of you is going to bang the tour guide. And it was not necessary. Super weird. Also, they hike up a mountain and like at no point are they prepared to do that. And like the one should have died. And there's like, it's okay that you went out on your own. It's not. Wrong lesson. Anyway. Number 4, A Grand Ole Opry Christmas. Brother, this movie should have been really bad. And it was just normal bad. Gentry Wade, who gave up music after her father's death decades ago, must confront her past when Nashville's Grand Ole Opry invites her to honor her late star late country star dad at the Christmas celebration, and she goes, "Whoa, back in time." Actually, she ends up like reuniting with her dad, and it's actually really sweet. And like his dad is like, "I think your dad would love you," and it was really sweet. And honestly, I felt some feelings. It was really nice. Anyway, they did a good job with that one. Top three, and I these are the ones I officially would be like, you should watch these if you have to watch a Hallmark movie, gun to your head, which is usually how you watch a Hallmark movie. These movies could actually be in theaters if, again, there's gun to your head. That said, movies in theaters are not as good as they used to be. We need to talk about Lacey Chabert because my wife's aware that I'm in love with her. Lacey Chabert is perfect. She was in Mean Girls, and now she is in everything in Hallmark, and she's the GOAT. She's the GOAT forever. Lacey Chabert, ride or die. This movie has political undertones to it and kind of has like an FU AI mentality, and I love that.
Yeah.
A naughty or nice inspector, you know them, evaluates a girl's Christmas status of whether she'll be on the naughty or nice list. Then she falls for her widowed father, not the daughter. That'd be weird. Lacey Chabert's character does, making her question the strict rules of her consulting firm and forcing her to choose between protocol and love. It was actually really nice. They were like, "This girl's naughty. The algorithm says so." And she was like, "But the algorithm doesn't realize she's struggling after the death of her mother." Beautiful. Nicely done. AI is trash, and Santa agrees. Though I kind of think it's weird that Santa's been outsourcing the naughty and nice list and just scarring children for years, but I guess we'll just deal with that later.
No, dude, he runs a very successful and large operation. Of course, he's going to outsource and claim the profits. He is at this point essentially like Papa John before Papa John, got a little crazy. I guess he's more like Crazy Cane's dude now.
I think technically he's still like the Papa John's guy. Santa's going to say the N-word. Give it time. Anyway, Christmas Above the Clouds is Christmas Carol, but on a plane. And I got to tell you, they did a banger job on this. Like they actually, I'm a sucker for a Christmas Carol adaptation, first of all, but Tyler Hines is super hot. So he was a love interest, which was a fun twist on this because who's on this super long, like 20-hour long flight? Because she's going to take a flight all the way through Christmas because she hates Christmas. She's Scrooge. You get it. Oops. Who's there in first class with her? Her ex. Amazing. Fun. And then it has like one of the best, honestly, showings of Ghost of Christmas Future I've ever seen. It was fantastic. Anyway, yeah, this was just really well written. It was actually really funny. Like little things like the first ghost is like, "Come on, we're jumping out of the plane." And then they end up in the past. And then the Ghost of Christmas Present is like, "Hey, ready?" And she's like, "Are we jumping out of the plane?" He goes, "No, why'd you jump out of the plane? That's crazy." Good note. Nicely done, Hallmark. Last movie, number one. And I will say the best Hallmark movie I've ever seen. Merry Christmas, Ted Cooper. An overly positive weatherman reunites with his high school crush while on vacation while unfortunate things happen to him, which always happen to him at Christmas time. It's clearly just Ted Lasso, but news. Hallmark, it was shameless, but it was honestly very good. They executed the hell out of it. And a really good kiss in this movie. It was really sweet. They really brought it home. Yeah, they nailed it. So yeah, those are my movies. I watched 23 of them. And I was not going to watch 23 Hallmark movies this year without making it everyone else's problem. And now it's here. You're welcome. Happy birthday. Merry Christmas.
It feels like one of those white elephant gifts where it's like, you gave it to me because you didn't want to have to edit this, and now I have to edit this. And I, quite frankly, don't know what to do with this.
I don't understand why you would edit it. What do you mean edit it? I just gave you like half the run of your podcast today.
I was very content.
What the hell is your problem?
I was very content with the 40-minute podcast.
I just gave you this. You don't even have to edit it. I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a 355th edition of the Indie Ball Report. I hope you took something from it. I don't really know what to do with this. Add Indie Ball Pod, Indie Ball Report, everywhere else. And if Gary could go ahead and at least DM me on the side to let me know when Union Night is, it would be greatly appreciated so I could get busy planning all of that. I would like that quite a bit. And I was thinking about making t-shirts too, so it could be fun.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm all in on this. I got some really stupid ideas for that, so we'll talk. But I didn't want to get too deep into it without knowing exactly when that is. I'm also kind of waiting on that to send out those party invites. That's why I was waiting on my party schedule for the year, but I might just have to go with it. And if I have to reschedule, I have to. I will say maybe if Gary doesn't start announcing it soon, I'm just going to start sending them unsolicited entire movie reviews of Hallmark movies. Because brother, if you don't think that was the shortened version of my reviews of those movies, you're high.
you have anything else you want to plug? Or?
Indie Ball Nation on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever else, podcast platforms. I mean, unfortunately, this amazing piece of content won't be there, but it's worth it because I love you and it was your birthday.
Thanks.
Hooray!
I love it. Till next time, don't forget to play ball.
That was amazing.